work. Through the portal they go. Okay, we're like getting to the point where half the room is leaving. Which actually I kind of love. So, bye. So we get to take a deep breath. This is where we get to settle in a little bit. Turn off your cell phone if you haven't done that. Give yourself the gift of this time and space and this place of peace in your life. We have a beautiful morning this morning, starting with a meditation. Reverend Sharon's going to lead us in meditation. We're going to take a moment in silence. We're going to sing together, raise our voices together. And then Jelane's going to pray us in.
So as we go into that place of silence, that place of peace and calm and wholeness and health, the place of love, I invite you to release everything that's gone on this week. Let it go. It's in the past. And just come into this now moment, to this time, to this space, in this beloved community. And as we breathe in and we breathe out, we know in the deepest part of us that we are part of the divine. We are God's expression of kindness and love. And so we go into that place, that still place, where we're guided, where the inner presence whispers to us. And we say, here I am, God. Here I am. I see myself and know myself as a spiritual being having a human experience. Here I am, God. Guide me. I express your love. So I go into the silence and I listen. And I listen. And I listen to what is mine to do, whose life is mine to touch. Where do I shed my light in the darkness? I take it into the silence and I listen. In the stillness, where we are all renewed. this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love.
We come together this morning in this sacred space to know the presence of Spirit and the unity of all life. Let your mind be still and your heart be open. With each breath, feel divine inspiration and divine life force flowing in your body. Spirit is all there is, one, indivisible, and Spirit expresses as many aspects of being. This month, we celebrate the Divine Feminine. Traditionally, feminine energy expresses as intuition, empathy, receptivity, and mystery. Your intuition accesses the infinite wisdom of divine mind. Empathy reminds us that all are one, one with Spirit and one with each other. We are joined by love and shared experience. Receptivity expresses as surrender, willingness to say yes to divine guidance and life purpose. And mystery encompasses the greater yet to be. I give thanks for all aspects of God, and I give thanks for spiritual consciousness. I speak these words into the law, knowing that the law responds instantly and perfectly. So I release and let go, knowing that all is complete. And if you would like, please join me in affirming. And so it is. Amen.
Oh, Mother God, flowing through our hearts, we give thanks for the bread of our lives, for the hands in the earth and the fruit of your womb. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, thank you to our hearts we give thanks for the bread of our lives, for the hands in the earth and the fruit of your womb. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God,
that you wash over me, and this joy in my heart I will share with the world. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, thank you for this day, for the love that you wash over me, and this joy in my heart I will share with the world. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. God, flowing through our hearts, we give thanks for the bread of our lives, and the hands in the earth, and the fruit of your womb. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, thank you for this day, for the love that you wash over me, and this joy in my heart I will share with the world. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be.
So you know how the universe has a sense of humor, right? So, last month, we have these themes for the year. They're all outlined in the journal that you have, and so we're following along. So last month, I got my least favorite topic, which was talking about the body. And then Reverend Sharon got sex, or sacred sexuality, sorry. And we didn't really look at the topics while we were working with the calendar, and we knew that I needed to not speak today, as I taught a class all night Friday night and all day yesterday, and I knew that you didn't want me to repeat my class on ethics, so Reverend Jim got the Divine Feminine International Women's Day. And instead of protesting, I have to hand it to him. Instead of protesting, he started studying like a month ago or so, and then he wrote a book about it. So there we go. Here he is.
Well, good morning, and happy International Women's Day, right? I wore my pink shirt. Boy, I'm glad to hear you laugh. Laugh is also divine. In fact, for some of you that are kind of serious this morning, why don't I start out with just a little story? Way out in the corner of Larimore County, there's a farm out there. A farmer and his wife, and the only child that's left on the farm is a son. And they don't get to town very often because they're so busy with that farm. Well, one day they decide to go to Denver, and they're staying in the hotel there, and the son and the father decide in the morning to go out for a little walk just to see the place. And as they went downstairs, they saw this box in the wall, with buttons on it. They'd never seen one of these things. And then a few minutes later, a little decrepit lady comes walking along, pushes a button, and gets on it. Doors close. A few minutes later, the doors open, and a beautiful, gorgeous woman steps out. The father says, son, go get your mother in a hurry. no, that's not the divine feminine I'm going to be talking about today. That's not it. I'm not even going to talk about Reverend Sharon that I consider divine feminine to me. But her 4 daughters, they don't agree. So therefore, we won't bring up Reverend Sharon. Yes, Barb, I've spent the last month because what do I know about the divine feminine? In fact, one of you said to me last week, you're not really talking about the divine feminine. What do you know about the divine feminine? You're such a masculine guy. And I don't know whether that was a compliment or not. But the divine feminine, in looking at things, I came across this book, which I found very enlightening to me. When God Was a Woman. When God Was a Woman. You know, as I trace the history of religion back and forth over the centuries, in fact, I teach a class that's called Can We All Be Right? And I found it fascinating in early religions that God was considered both male and female. And I find it fascinating when I look at for instance, Lao Tzu in China. You know, a great teacher. But he was kind of disappointed in his followers. They weren't really grasping the message. And one day he decided to leave the country. As he went out to the borderland, a border guard was there and said, "Please, Lao, please, can I write down your concepts and precepts before you leave the country?" And it was done so. In fact, that became the Tao Te Ching, a great, great compilation of spiritual thoughts. Here's what is found in that book. Conceived of as having no name, it is the originator of heaven and earth. It is the mother of all things. A definition of God, the mother of all things. Here, you like that quotation? You can have it. Good. Good. Suppose we go to Jewish mysticism. In Jewish mysticism, it's called the Kabbalah. And the Kabbalists say, "My soul aches to receive your love. Only by the tenderness of your light can she be healed. Engage my soul that she may taste your ecstasy." You see, in the Kabbalah, God is referred to as she. And then we might give you another example from the Buddhists. The Buddhists assert that prajna paramita, meaning the perfection of wisdom, is feminine. An important Buddhist text puts it this way: "The perfection of wisdom gives light, O Lord. I pay homage to the perfection of wisdom. She is worthy of homage. She is unstained, and the world cannot stain her." Again, a statement of the divine feminine in the Buddhist tradition. So what has happened? It's interesting as we read our Hebrew scriptures and the Christian scriptures, because in an agricultural society, it became so important for the women to produce kids, to work on the farms, and the men to go out and be the workers. And so gradually that tradition became encoded in even our religious traditions. The son, the oldest son, in fact, became the inheritor of all the family wealth. And if you read, even in the Ten Commandments, you shall not covet your neighbor's donkey nor his wife. In other words, what has happened is that women became property. It's also interesting to note that whenever God speaks in the Hebrew scriptures, God only speaks to the guys. It's a guy thing. They needed it, Sharon says. But Moses and God, and Jacob and God, and Joseph and God, it's always a God thing and a man thing. And then you notice in the Christian scriptures we have the story of Mary. God doesn't speak to Mary. He sends an angel to speak to Mary. And then throughout the history of Christianity, there were many writings. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene, all excluded from the Christian scriptures. Every one of them. And then the importance of women in the Bible were minimized. Certainly Jesus had female disciples, but they're edited out of history. And then in the Middle Ages, if you were a woman and you dared to speak out, or you dared to have an alternative opinion, an alternative truth as we call it today, if you dared, you were probably branded as a witch and you were probably burned at the stake. Even as early as 4 years ago, Hillary Clinton was pictured as a witch, even with a broom. And I'm sure some of you may be disappointed that there are no female presidential candidates in our present day. So just think of that. Think of that through the eyes of women in our society today. Think about that when we call God He. So why don't we just take a deep breath, put a period for that subject. And I'd like to go on to part 2. Part 2 concerns the nature of the soul. You are a living soul made in the image and likeness of God. You're not your body. You're not what you do. You're not what you're defined as. You're a living soul. Now, in my belief, a living soul is that entity that is a part of God. It's a expression of God. It is God. God with flesh on. That's why on Sunday we sing, I am the place where God shows up. You are that. You are a living soul. And that living soul has neither male or femaleness. Neither one. That living soul is boundless. It cannot be defined. That living soul wasn't born, and that living soul never die. You weren't created on a certain day. You weren't born on a certain day. The essence of who you are is eternal. And you have all of the capabilities and all of the powers of that living soul. I'm going to ask them to put a slide up here. Personality traits. If you go to Google, which I often do to research anything, because I find all kinds of interesting facts, some contrary to one another. But boy, when I Googled the question, what are the personality traits of the divine feminine? And I had several different answers that I found. And these words that you see on your screen were pretty generally in agreement. The divine feminine has personality traits. The soul has personality traits. The soul has capabilities. In Unity, we call it the 12 powers. These are a little different, but look at them. Care for others, collaborative, receptive, nurturing, relationship directed, intuitive, interdependent, multitasking. What are you laughing about, Reverend Barb? And wise. Maybe Reverend Barb recognizes herself in some of those. Another interesting thing, whenever you study leadership or management, such as in this book by Simon Dolan, Managing by Values, they tell us the same thing. The qualities of the divine feminine bring about success in leadership, in business, in life, in marriage, in everything in life. It's one and the same thing. Now, I've expanded this in this little booklet I produced, and you can buy one over there if you'd like, because next week, after church, we're going to discuss it a little bit. But you know what has happened? Men in our masculine society have defined these values as not being cool. Now, I've aged myself by using that word, I think. Not being cool. Rather than being collaborative, what are we? Competitive. And you know, another interesting fact is when women rise to the level of being a CEO of a corporation or any business, they try to emulate the opposite of these. But take a course in management, take a course in leadership. This is what success looks like. This is what success looks like. The other thing about this is that despite what we say, there's no such thing with the soul or with these traits as masculine and feminine. These are God traits. These are soul traits. They exist in every one of us. But you know, us guys, in some cases, we've had it kind of beat out of us. You know, when we were kids, what did our dad say? Buck up. Grown men don't cry. If we try to emulate some of these traits as teenagers, our peers in many cases would have something not very nice to say about them. So, I believe that every one of us need to take a look at these traits and begin practicing them. Make them an integral part of our lives. Make them of something of value to us. I might just give you one or two examples here in closing. For instance, the trait that you find up here of collaboration. What's the opposite? What's the competition? Good. Now, between the time that I was a Southern Baptist minister and the time I saw the light and started attending a New Thought ministry, I was an insurance agent for AAA. 6 of us agents in the office. And what was on my brain so often? I had to be the guy at the top of the list in sales. I would do anything and everything to get to that position. And I did many times. But rather than learning and collaborating with the team, the sales team in the office, it was all about me. So I'd suggest if you're in business, if you're in any place that you can do this, open your heart. Open your heart to what all others can teach you. You know, many of us have the idea that I'm the smartest, the brightest, the most talented, and that's not what Spirit says. Because Spirit talks to us and says that Spirit expresses through everyone and everything. Everyone and everything. We're on this planet to collaborate with each other. We're on this planet to foster these traits so that success comes to all, not just to me. Can you imagine a world where we all collaborated with each other? Can you imagine? Can you imagine what would happen? Ideas would flow forth from even the most unlikely places. We'd solve the world's problems. But no, what do? We compete. It's my team or no team. There's a big difference. How about the one intuitive? Is your life just based on facts? Just what you can see and feel and read or is it something greater than that? Do the answers to all of life's situations flow to us through Spirit? Or is it just by picking up a book and reading it? And I'm quite a book lover. But Spirit talks to us in those quiet times, those times of when we can just still our hearts and our minds and just go within. In fact, I found it quite interesting that so many of the world's inventions, the answers to some of the biggest problems in the world, have come to individuals in their sleep, in their dreams, in quiet times. Because I believe that Spirit has an answer to every situation. There's always a spiritual answer to every problem. So in closing, we can discuss this more, but I'd like us to look at the words of an individual. It's in a book called Beyond Death Anxiety. The author is Robert Firestone. And he writes about the need for all of us to have these fundamental values that we can share as human beings, regardless of gender, personality, nationality, political persuasion, or anything else. So here's what he says. These are common values. The ability to love and to feel compassion for self and others. Are you with me on that? The ability to love and feel compassion for self and others. The capability for abstract reasoning and creativity, informed by our intuition. The ability to experience, the word experience there, the ability to experience deep emotion. The desire for social affiliation. The ability to set goals and develop strategies to accomplish them. And awareness of existential concerns, the health of our planet. The potential to experience the sacredness and the mystery of life. Wow. And what we do here on Sunday mornings and in classes, the search for meaning. So let's just go into prayer for a moment. So as we quiet our hearts in this moment, we know that every human being on this planet has these shared values. Open our eyes that we might see that. We might see it in ourselves, in those that we work with. That we might see it in the world around us, regardless of color and nationality and gender and anything else. May we recognize we all have the same needs. The same needs. May we enhance those abilities to love, to feel compassion, the capacity to use our intuition, and the ability to experience deep emotion without blocking it. May we develop together as a community and as a nation, as a world, the strategies to accomplish these things. And may we always be aware of the existential concerns that face so many on our planet. May we do away with sexism, racism, xenophobism, all these things that separate us. And most of all, may we see the divine feminine and the divine masculine in everything that exists. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
I love that song. So it's like 10:45, which means in any moment we're going to welcome the people who didn't change their clocks. You ready? Just in time. Just in time for the ushers to come forward, yes. And for us to be in that place where we understand that we are co-creating with life, with spirit, with God itself, that as we give, we are multiplied and we receive. And as we give, we support this beautiful expression of life that we have created together called New Thought, Northern Colorado. And if you say this with me, in our unity of purpose, we are guided by infinite wisdom and prospered by divine love, and so it is.
Woman, spirit is beauty. Woman, spirit runs deep. Woman, loves with compassion. Our perfection is complete. Woman, graceful. Woman's spirit is wise. Woman's spirit is moving, bringing love into our lives. Woman's spirit is passion. Woman's spirit is birth. Woman's power unfolding to honor life on earth.
Sing along with us.
Woman's spirit is beauty.
Spirit is beauty.
Woman's spirit is deep.
Woman's spirit is deep.
Woman loves with compassion.
Loves with compassion.
Our perfection's complete.
Our perfection is complete.
Woman's spirit is graceful.
Spirit is graceful.
Woman's spirit is wise.
Woman's spirit is wise.
Woman's spirit is
Woman's
moving,
spirit is moving.
bringing love into our lives. Woman's spirit is passion. Woman's spirit is birth.
Spirit is birth.
Woman's spirit's unfolding.
Power unfolding to honor life on earth.
Woman's spirit is beauty.
Woman's spirit is beauty.
Woman's spirit is deep.
Woman's spirit is deep.
Woman loves with compassion.
Loves with compassion.
Our perfection
Our perfection